Hello, everybody. Yeah, I was with a friend and we were catching up after a long time. You may be knowing him, Robert Pasciola. He is with Western Capital and he's a good guy. So he's a good friend of mine. He's coming to uh, Clubhouse after a long time. So we were doing a room there. Uh, anyway, Bob is executive. He has several companies, and his podcast goes to 35 countries or something. Uh, but he was spending a lot of time with his screens, and then he was not able to really rest his mind. And that's when I kind of, took him over and then helped him a little bit. I think he doesn't mind me mentioning that because he himself tells to everybody in the audience and I'm there. So uh, all I told him was just drop all the screens and go out and rest under a tree. You know, it's as simple as that. But we are losing touch with our nature, and we are doing too much of a good thing, which is the technology, and then we are paying for it as a society, as individuals also. So this is an important thing to remember. How can we be with the nature when we get up? And how can you return back to nature on and off while you are working? It doesn't mean that you have to physically go there. You can put a flower next to your computer and just to see the flower completely and enjoy the flowers, colors, is perfume, it's whatever. But it could be a fresh flower every day that you will be able to really relate to the freshness of it, right? So I told him to get out and then go and sit on a tree, literally. And then he kind of walked away from all those screens because he was absorbing all this data. He may be doing a good thing for the society, the financial matters and all that, but how he is exposing himself to go from one to 100 different things, and then the whole neurotic mechanism strengthens. You know, so it's basically you are doing the same thing with the same result on and off, on and off, on all the time. Then you will form that network which is out of whack sometimes. And then people feel like, should I take a drink or should I take a puff at the cigarette, or should I just sing it out? So many things people use, but the best thing would be learn to observe your thoughts. Then if they are going out of whack, then you can notice that, and then you can pull yourself back to the base of the thought. See, everybody gets indulged in the thought, but they don't really understand where they are arising from, how they are taking a life of their own, and how they kind of recur again, right? That is cyclical thought. The more you are in cyclical thought without uh, really finishing off the thoughts as they're happening, then you are in trouble, right? That's what's going on with the information overload. As you know, I'm a master's in information science. Okay, biomedical informatics is about what's going on with biomedical data in terms of the research, the science, the treatments, and what we apply. But the important thing there we have to understand is what's going on with this enormous data we are producing. Are we developing any safeguards to deal with this information? It's not the problem with information, it's how we use it. You see, that's what I wanted to talk about today, because the terms like what I used there is your mind is more like somebody safe and be there for you for everything is like your wife. or you have gone beyond that and you've gained a mistress, and then you are more attracted to her, but that mistress could leave you at any time, that kind of thing. But then why it is this is a philosophical description. Ramana brought it out, and it made a lot of sense to me. That's the perspective I'm bringing it here. When you get up, you don't have any thoughts to begin with, and then immediately within a minute or even less than that, we get on the bandwagon of this thought, and that very first thought that is described as I thought, and that thought leads to the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one. We may not notice uh, uh, the link with each thought because they're so quick, so electric, so spontaneous. Without us doing anything, we kept on thinking, and before 2 or 3 minutes, we are landed up in that, all with yesterday's memories or future aspirations or future worries, whatever, right? Both the past and the present and the future, all the thoughts together, they build up much better, a big network. Okay, it seems like we're just continuing, but not really, because we never really enjoyed the silence that we could enjoy when there's no mind. That's what I'm talking about. This is could be people who are deeply in meditation, or neuroscientists who want to understand what happens. There is no activity. Usually, what we physicians say, when there is no mind activity, the flat reading on the EEG, we read it like life has ended and they are gone. But surprising was there were people who are deep into various types of meditation, Buddhist monks or Hindu monks or Christian or contemplatives. All these people, they could really have their autonomic nervous systems like a breathing, blood pressure, heart rate, and temperature. They could control and bring it down. Like that, they were able to go into a place in the mind with the deep meditation where everything was silent, right? So those they look very extraordinary, but now we are coming to a place where we could train people, put these monitors on them for the brainwaves, and then we can tell them exactly when they are going to go into deep samadhi, deep silent absorption of the mind. That state is alert, not sleeping, awake but not active, not judgmental, but that's the no mind status is very healing for ordinary people. Instead of running with all these things, one thing after other, one thing after other, give it a break. Take some time off from that activity, and you don't have to go anywhere. Just give your mind. You can do that. Couple of aids I'm going to tell you how you can do it. Number one is deep breathe, but when you are deep breathing, focus your attention on the touch of that air at the ala nasa, which is this part, the nose, ala nasa, or that out their entries, right? The nostrils around the skin and cartilage. That is ala nasa, we say. So you can feel as the air going in and also going out. You can feel if you are alert, awake, and here and now, right? So do that, then you will really feel like your mind is because your attention is really brought in to feel the tips of LNAC. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you could do, which is a little different, is that if you really observe the thought or become the watcher of the thought or the witness of the thought, then you can see. So for that, all you do is close your eyes, and as the thoughts are coming up, you could see you are experiencing the thought. That means you are different from the thought. The experiencer is different from the thought, and in that milieu of experiencer, which is we call it consciousness, which is awareness, we can call it, thoughts are happening. So they are an object to the experiencer. You can feel that your body, it is separate from you, in the sense, you are experiencing the body, the pain, the coldness or hot or whatever, right? So the senses will bring you that information, then you are feeling it. But who is that experiencer? That's the deep philosophical question of the ancients explored, and they have come to very successful conclusion that the experience that within us is a real self, real entity that we call ourself or me, and that can absorb. So these two, if you can try it, in the beginning it will be very difficult, but for this initially, you got to eliminate all the stimuli from outside, find a place that is very calm and quiet, and you won't get any scenery that rake up all your memories. And also, like, for example, your family members walking into suddenly into that room, that can trigger your memories or all that. Don't do that. Okay, ask them, I'm going to be alone at least for 10-15 minutes, and during the time don't bring any radios or any TV broadcast in the house, or any pets that are coming and barking. None of that. Okay, try to help you to get into that. Okay, once you are deep in this, like I am, can be in the middle of storm, but I can still have the. Though it is not something extraordinary, it can be cultivated. That's my point. It's not that how much I can do. It's not that. What I'm saying is the stage where I had to sit down and eliminate all the stimuli to begin with, and allow myself to be alone and allow myself to go inward. I had to do initially, right? But afterwards, after several months or several years, whatever you are sincere, you are maturing spiritually, it depends upon how that goes on. But if you take it like somebody comes to me burned out and said, I can't deal with all this continuous data, they don't leave me alone, they want me to answer these questions or respond to these situations all the time by thinking about it all the time. That's a real problem for them, because they cannot be carefree and really enjoy 1 minute, right? So I teach these doctors and nurses to do this actively. And then you can build up. See, the other thing is, can you actively put those devices away? The screen time. Can you limit that screen time? Can you say, okay, I'm not going to really do anything with this. I'm going to limit the screen time. That's a good thing. These days, they send you reports, right? Facebook and other things. They send you, oh, your screen time this week is this much and all that. But they're always inviting you. They're always distracting you. That person is speaking, this person is speaking, or they have their ways to get you, right? And then if you leave the notifications on, you have no escape. They will send you those. So turn off the notifications at least for that time, if you could. I prefer turning it off completely. But sometimes I'm in the mood to go clubhouse and visit some friends and see what they are doing. Then I may leave it on, and then if that comes that my friend is speaking somewhere, then I may go there. So that kind of thing. So you get to be actively in charge of who is going to get your attention, right? So if you do that. Now, whether you want to go into the deeper aspects of no mind is something very dependent upon how much you are interested, and do you want to go there, or can you understand? All those things come. But basically, I'm going to be very simple. I'm not going to go into a deeper philosophical investigation and all that, which may be not needed also. See, basically, what is that you call mind? You call your own image to you as your mind, as your ego, as your personality, right? Or whatever the kind of things, your tastes, your um, tendencies, your prejudices, your conclusions, all those things, you put it together as my mind, right? But if you really look at it, do you really have an entity called mind, or brain is a physical, but the construction of mind is done by you with your own thought? You don't agree with me, but that's what it is, right? If you really look at it, that's what. For example, if you see me and say, "Oh, this is Dr. Rao," but that's only my name. But I could change my name to something else, and still I can function as a human being, right? How many people do that? That they do that too. For example, my whole name is Hanumanta Rao, but then I found my friends, American friends, had difficulty. So I kind of said, okay, I'll use the middle name Rao as this, and then that became very easy. But there are so many Raos. For example, in the Chicago hospital where I first landed up, there was a Rao already. He's our chief, so he is they were using his name, and he was I don't want to be confused with my chief, and then so I did not use it. I used it Dr. Coluso, which is my last name, and that stuck with until I came to Clubhouse. In the Clubhouse, I put Dr. Rao Kolusu, but still people are using only Dr. Rao, which is fine. So what I'm saying is, that you say Dr. Rao or Hanumanta Rao or Dr. Kulusu, that's only an identification thing. That's not me, right? The person it is there. There are some sages that really don't even care. You use whatever name and what they don't care. If you have some need, you go there. You don't have to know about them. You don't have to understand their history. Why are you here? What is that you want to find out? That's it. And then you kind of express, okay, I'm not able to understand this, or I'm having a lot of suffering, or whatever need you think that particular sage person is going to help you. He would, without knowing anything about you, without asking your status or your gender or your nationality, none of it, right? So, what is that? Because they knew that beyond this name, that's called nama, shape, rupa, and space and time. These four, okay? Beyond all these four, you are a person. You are not a person even. You are a human being. The being and person kind of different, because the being is that experiencer, is that electrical force that is within us. Without that, we don't have life. As physicians, we see that, patients die in our hands so many times, and we can see the light up until he loses the light, and then he is dead. I mean, it's so uh, dramatic. How many times I have seen that, but still, it's really dramatic. Like the whole life has gone out of him, and the light has gone out of him. The tejas, we call it. That means like a splendor around the light, and it is there, that's gone from the person, right? And then that's the person who had everything gone. Actually, there is a description of the body in yoga sciences is called three parts, right? Stula, Sukshma, Karana. These three parts are the stula is like a gross body, our bones and muscles and arteries and all that, uh, physical and anatomical body, brain, right? Then Sukshma is our thoughts, our emotions, our understandings, all those things. And then Karana is causal, the genes, the information in the genes, all that is caused Karana Sarira. So gross body dies and goes. Sukshma body disappears after somebody dies, but the life force, which becomes the causal body, That doesn't go anywhere. That takes another shape of nama, name, rupa, shape, time, and space. In time, in space, and all that. But our real nature is also is the one which is observing the thoughts, is the experiencer which is having these experiences. If you know this division, not because somebody said so, but because you investigated by yourself and you found that experiential knowledge real by your own self knowledge, self investigation, then you can see uh, you will have real control on the so called mind, and you will say, okay, what I thought mind is not really there, but I kind of built it up. And then that becomes the no mind. Then you will be in that only thoughts. Let me see. So many thoughts can come at a time, but I can take deep breath and I can observe. I can slow them down and slow them down so much. I can go to one thought and then I can stay only on one thought. And after that, I can transcend the thought into the real nature of mind, which is the awareness, which is the experiencer. That is a very, very nice way to control your mind. See, the Western society thinks only up until the thought patterns. I'm up, come on up. Yeah. I was just giving them an analogy of my friend Robert Pasha is here, whom I was talking about earlier. So let me give you just a rundown. I think it will be very useful for you. See, they classified the body into three: a gross body, and a subtle body, and a causal body. The gross body is our muscles, bones, arteries, the anatomical part, brain, and all that, right? In that, we think, we kind of feel, we kind of have knowledge, we kind of have conclusions, and all that. Basically, what has to go to, we call it mental, psychological, philosophical, whatever that is. That is the subtle body, right? And then there are your genes, and they're responsible for the life force itself. All that is called karana sharira, that is causal body. So when you die, usually the physical body deteriorates because it's a physical thing, and the subtle body disappears because you are not there anymore, and your real life force do not go anywhere. Remember in the Star Wars, they say, the force be with us. That is the force, that is the life force. Now we call it very important to have qualia, experience by ourselves. So I was talking about how do you slow down the thought, how do you go beyond the thought. I gave them two simple things. One is when you are having so many thoughts running more continuously, which is the natural thing now for the modern man. So you take deep breaths so that the rapidity of thought, the frequency of thoughts, the various thoughts coming from all over will go down. And then, second thing is try to be the watcher of those thoughts. And then, as you watch, you will see, yeah, these thoughts are happening to me. I'm able to see that they are apart from me. And then becomes very easy to handle the thoughts coming in and going out and all that. And then the practice is gather them together, slow them, go to one thought and go beyond that one thought and experience that silence at least twice a day. That's what I would recommend. And later on, you can end up in the silence all the time and use your intellect much, much better. And it doesn't hurt you. Even a lot of data comes to you around. That is what is our current reality is. We have a lot of data coming to us, and we form more data by responding to it, thinking about it, judging about it, or conception about it. So many things we do with the data coming in. What I was talking about all the time is don't get caught in that cycle. Data coming in, you are living it, but you don't allow it to finish. It goes into your subconscious and comes back without your knowledge. And then you get caught in that net. Okay. So what you want to do is every time you have something you are doing with your mind, yeah, very good. Hi, Hector. So it's kind of very easy to uh, perform if you rest. So I have a lot of energy at the end of the day, mainly because I finish off the thoughts as they are happening. It becomes habit. Then you will save so much energy because you are not spending unnecessarily in the other thoughts. Only focusing on what you are doing. Actually, you do better and you feel better too. What do you say, Rob? I can't hear you. Rob, something happened with your microphone? Yeah, you have to go out and come back. Hi, Hector. You want to come up and say something about this? You're welcome to listen too. That's fine.
Dr. Rao.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we are. Yeah, I was trying to say that I hear what you're talking about when you talk about silence.
Yeah.
Oh, what an amazing idea! That in this world we live in, there's so many things that we see, so many data sets and data points that hit our radar every hour of every day.
Yeah.
And just to be in silence, just to be in contentment, isn't that an amazing thing? And I love the way you say,
yeah,
don't spend a lot of time moving towards what is in the now. I guess that's the best way to say it. What is in the now?
Yeah.
Deal with what's in the now, and the future and the past is the past is gone. The future will happen wherever it happens.
There is a little correction, Rob, what you said about silence being an idea.
I say that again. Violence?
No. Silence being an idea. That is not an
silence. Okay, gotcha.
That's not an idea. Why? Because silence is the mother of speech. You see, you are silent to begin with, but we are so used to the voice, and you want to speak, you want to say something, and all that. That has become the primary thing, and the where it came from. Before all that, there was silence all the time. It's important to understand, because then if you say, okay, if the silence is my original thing, why can't I be in that? It's just a sheer habit to be talking all the time. We can talk, we can express, that's all fine. But can we also experience that silence in between?
Well, I think you just heard my silence trying to manage that room, because so, number one, we both can agree, I think, that silence is uncomfortable to some people.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Yeah. However, some people want to and need to hear what you have to say, and the inflection in your voice, and the way you're guiding and assisting and teaching and leading and mentoring and driving people towards success, where they can't hear otherwise on a platform like this.
Yeah.
You're just going to blend in with the background if you are silent. Would you agree with that, Dr.
Yeah, yeah, sure. But the thing is, that is all kind of has to be revised now, because we are exposed to so much material. How do I deal with big data being an informatician? Because I'm able to end it each segment.
Yes.
So you can handle all the companies that you want, Rob. Only thing I'm talking about is, how can you be efficient in your thought? How can you use the phenomena of silence to revive your brain so that you live a very quality life? And this is the sucker. You will live longer if you experience silence.
I agree.
Hmm. We know that we all know that.
I'm just
Yeah.
not sure that I have the answer on
Yeah.
how I would use my style of doing what I do.
Yeah.
To, I don't
No,
want to say
I'm coming to that.
next level.
I'm coming
But
to that. I'm coming to that because
okay, go ahead.
yeah, coming. First of all, whenever you are speaking a lot, be silent out of courtesy or diplomacy, or we have the stage, whatever we have, the respect and all that. That's all fine. That's civilized behavior. That's all fine. And also, you want to hear somebody talking what they're talking before we butt in, right? That's all okay. But what it is the inner urge of I want to speak, I want to express, that you can control. There's the two things I said for that is take deep breaths. While you are listening, other people are saying, suppose you stop and you are letting other people speak. At that time, try 3 deep breaths. That's all I'm saying. Okay, just try 3 deep breaths and see how you feel at the end of it, and then you will continue the conversation. But this incorporation of deliberately deep breathing is something I teach all the time. It doesn't cost you, it's good for you because you'll have better oxygen in there. And also, there is a link between rapid thought and the breathing. So, whenever somebody comes anxiety, we make them breathe through the brown bag. I think that everybody knows about that. Take a deep breath, calm down. Usually they say that, right? There's truth in that. I can explain all the mechanics and the physiology and the science behind it. But basically, take deep breaths as a habit and cultivate that. And then when you're speaking, that will help you a lot. This is something you just have to remember to do. That's all in the beginning.
Boy, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
One of the things I said to people, many people who are running bigger rooms and all that, I told them every time you reset the room to explain to people why we are here, what we are doing, what is the subject of this room, and all that, do some deep breathing also 3 times only, not too much. Some people took it, some people thought I was silly. But actually, I was being a physician there. I was trying to tell them, you feel better if you do this.
Yeah.
By the way, Robert, I could not tell you in that room because we were talking about so many things, which is okay. Um, I have developed a bigger philosophy around what I should do with my life from here onwards, right? That grew out of my medical practice and later on what I understood with wellness, how I am without any medications for almost now 10 years, right? I didn't even take it till now, even not even one day. Not that I'm against the medications, but I did have to take the medication. So the measures that I do to be well is something I want to put it into the health policy so that everybody will understand why we should be doing these things. Because what I plan to do is I want to go as a chief wellness officer to one of the health systems and then do studies with my informatics and gather data and develop projects that I can give to other scientists to search them out, and then we'll come out with the conclusions that could be scientifically scrutinized, and then people can accept them too, and then practice them, right? And also with that, not only the health policy, but also I want to change the culture of the um, health health culture. That means more people are oriented to wellness and doing. They can do the business, but they can do that with much more awareness. Like in 50s, nobody was aware of the smoking is bad, but now people are aware. Like that, what I call as a proactive wellness, I want to be permeating in the culture. I think you say you are too ambitious, but that's what I am. Whatever little I can do for that large, big vision, I'm going to do.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking out loud.
Yeah.
How you would make your agenda rise to the occasion of getting heard by those that can support you.
Yeah. They are already there because they don't have the time to explore these things as much as I could do.
Exactly. And so I'm thinking, what do you have to do to get on the radar?
Yeah.
And then once you get them on the radar, to get the buy-in and the belief.
No, it's coming to the stage where we are spending enormous money for the healthcare. That is one thing, right? Other thing is people are getting bankrupt. The doctors, offices, hospitals, everything is really bankrupt with this current illness model. And people are suffering. See, we don't need either of them. You don't have to suffer, you don't have to spend that much money. If only we understand what is the natural rhythms in our body, what are the natural rhythms in the planet out there. And that's also our responsibility too, to help the planet, because we are at the almost at the disaster level, right? So it's important to see that too. And many doctors, if you allow them, so for example, there is a movement going on with the genome, with the personalized medicine, with all the molecular biology. We can tell how Bob is going to be in 10 years life. Another 10 years, what is his chemistry, what are the manifesting diseases, I can tell you now, so that you can work on them from now on. See, the genome that has revealed their epigenetics, right? These can be changed with our lifestyles. And then you don't have to manifest that diabetes, which you have inherited or which has come. You don't. But right now, what is happening is people are unknowingly going on doing that. So we are really hoping the genome editing that is coming up now, it is already doing something for the sickle cell disease, breast cancer, and so many things we are doing right now. But then I go much deeper into the molecular level. So it's not just I'm talking about Eastern practice, I'm talking about Western breakthroughs too. But how do we combine them? I'm natural. I don't have interference with any chemicals unless it is needed. And I try to be away from it. It's like I'm driving a car. I want to put all the air in the tires, check the battery, and make sure it can go the distance it can go. Not taking the chances by being reckless. That's what people are doing with their health. There's a big project. I have envisioned that. But the main thing is, I want to go to a health system where they will support my research. I'm not going to alter a mark. Suppose you come to me with high blood pressure, you may be on medication and that is controlling. I won't take you off that. But I will make sure that you understand what's going on with you and then what is that is aggravating it and change them. As you change them, as you really get your blood pressure down, then I may taper off your medications. See?
Let me respond to that. A while ago, I'd say back in September, my blood sugar shot up to very, very high.
Okay.
I went to the hospital, and they said, "Well, Rob, you have type 2 diabetes." And I'm like, "Really?" So I went and read the Lancet, and I read the Harvard Medical Review. I read everything I could find on exactly what it is. And you know what? Over the next 90 days, I took my A1C down to 5.2.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
And the doctors are like, and what would happen is they thought, oh God, you're gonna be on insulin, and you're gonna need all this stuff. And I was like, okay, watch this. Now, there's two things that come to mind. Number one, I knew that it was something that I was just not going to participate in that game plan. For me, it wasn't going to happen. I knew that I made a mistake. I can rectify this. I can fix it because I did enough research to figure that out.
Yeah.
The second thing I did is I put myself on a monitor, which basically it's by Abbott Laboratories, and it's a glucose range.
Yeah.
So I monitor my glucose 24 hours a day through a meter that's that's attached to your skin.
Yeah.
And it reads out, and I have the actual access to the doctor reports.
Yeah.
So I know where my median A1C is at all times. So,
yeah.
I don't need if I took a shot, I'm going to plummet, right?
Yeah.
And I asked my doctor. I said, help me understand how somebody who I understand at the beginning the protocol for dealing with somebody with an A1C as high as mine was, which was 12. However, I also knew from watching and learning how to blast it down to nothing, right? And to get the glucose in range. So I figured out, so guess what? I have a device that's, maybe not even an inch. It's a half-inch circular. And it tells me everything I eat. It tells me everything.
Yeah.
So you know what? It constantly reminds me of where I'm at, what I need to do, and it gives me the roadmap. So I don't need to be smart.
Yeah.
I don't need to be taking any shots or anything, because I beat it, and I beat it in a matter of probably maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
In a matter of 4 months, I destroyed it.
Yeah, and then you continue that. That's all. Okay, you continue that good living habits, and then you will maintain that. You don't have to suffer. See what? That's what we're talking about. Personalized medicine in the hands of the patient, given the information and monitoring tools. Lots of people are intelligent enough; they will be able to do that. But many people do not take that much care. And then they will.
Well, it's almost like they had a protocol, and this is the protocol that they use, and A, B, C, and D is exactly what they do. So jump in my bandwagon and do what I say. I'm like, no, because what you're saying doesn't make sense, and this is highly reversible if you just lifestyle and food changing your glucose and getting a Quest Diagnostics getting your blood draw every 3 months.
What that is, Rob? It is a reductionist medicine. Based on
say that again. Say it again.
Reductionist. You reduce everything to physical. See?
What does that mean?
That means you kind of cut pieces and then you treat the pieces without understanding the whole thing is gone.
Oh yeah, because I have a digital readout like right now I'm at 82.
So what it is physics. Physics was Newtonian, and we had a lot of benefits from that. But then we outgrew Newtonian physics into now quantum, right? That's a holistic thing and all that. But whereas modern medicine, daily practice, not in the labs or research level where we are, many doctors who are practicing this are at that mechanical level. See, that's why they don't take into effort. They go by the protocols and then dictated, and this is becoming more and more mechanical. But then we always have the choice of personalized medicine, and that's why we need to educate the public much more so about how they can help themselves a lot if only they know these things.
Well, I understand, but I'll tell you what I've learned is that I have to be my biggest advocate, because they want to do is put us in a food processor and say, this is the protocol for this is the protocol for that. No, stop, you're not listening. And then you challenge them, and I'm talking, they're like, my one doctor was like, well, you seem to know more than I know about this. I'm like, well, no, I'm not saying I know more, but I've done medical research on, I have a very specific pinpointed issue, and I researched everything in the world that I could find. And what I'm telling you is what your analysis is not correct. And I think we need to move towards this.
No, you are right in a way.
They get very, very upset.
Rob, lot of patients, they know more about their disease because they have only one they can go and study like anything, right? And now it is much more available with all this AI. So a lot of people, there's a site called Dr. Gupta's, that is the medical thing, and it will give you everything. Very soon.
What's it called? Dr. Gupta?
Dr. Gupta.
Like Sanjay Gupta from CNN?
No, he's not the one. The name was there, but this site is medical. You can interact with it, and it will give you a lot of things, a lot of diagnosis suggestions and all that too. So
What
that's,
I was thinking of getting a body scan. You know, one of those machines where they scan you from your head
yeah.
all the way down, and they look at everything. What do you
No,
think about that?
they do like a aorta, like your head, and like your all the iliac vessels to discover the cardiovascular thing. That's the ultrasound. But they also do functional MRI of the brain in your activities, and then functional MRI of the liver function, kidney function, and all. There's so much more to come because we're going to have real feedback of how our biological health is. There is something called biological age versus actual chronological age. You could be very young in the biological and function very well, but your age could be 80, 90. I'm sure I'm 69 right now, right? If they take my biological age, it will be around 40, 45.
Oh, I have no. Yeah, I saw that online.
Yeah.
The biological age.
Yes.
But I mean, whenever you program it and you tell them that you got a A1C of this, you got this. I mean, obviously you're going to calculate out very high. And that happened to me, and I was like, "What in the hell with my biological age? Why would it show exactly what you said?" So I reverse engineered it and said, "Okay, here's I got to do this, this, and this," you know, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's a. You see, another thing you said was very important. Was I always talk about this is I see there's a lack of self responsibility about their own body in many patients. They just say, "Oh, you're the doctor. You tell us what to do," or they may want his wife come and take care of his medical problems, like that. It's still, people are very. Um, some people are aware. Some people are doing good health habits, but many people are not responsible for their own self. You know, so somebody like you are researching, studying, and then fixing the goal and able to achieve that. That's all because of your background and your training and all that. But many people, they kind of land in trouble, and then they spend all the money, but then they will never gain back the health that they are used to, you know.
Absolutely. I think we're on the same page. I just wonder, doctor, why do providers get so I know their patient load is huge, but why do they get so incensed whenever you bring data to the field? I mean, I had an endocrinologist tell me, I've never in 20 years of practice ever had somebody walk in with the amount of data, right? Because like I told you, I immediately, once I found out that I had a problem, I immediately put on the monitor, and you can't argue with with the with what the Libre Abbott Labs says. You can't. I mean, it's facts. And they're like, we've never seen anything. You know what your A1C is. You know what your health is. You know what your food is. I mean, it's like, what do you want? Why are you even here?
Let me tell you, it's like
they felt challenged. I felt in my mind, I felt like they were challenged.
That's the problem.
Because I brought data to the table.
Yeah, that's the problem. You see, somebody who is interested in your well-being, and they want your quality of life, and live longer and happier, and really don't have problems, that person will be delighted that you got all this data. Okay, because you are helping his job to. But if somebody is doing like a profession just for money, and then also on the high horse of their ego, they feel threatened. You see, we make those egoic doctors by giving them value just because of their degrees, and just because of their power, and having economic structures that are really big, and they think they don't have to bend to anybody. So that's a kind of a culturally bred and culturally made egoic doctors, and that is also causing a lot of problems for the doctors, because they are not able to transcend that and go into the real self, and they burn out. The ego burns out because they were respected, they were listened to before. Now these challenges are coming from everywhere, from the EMR protocols, from the patients getting into their own workup and getting the data from through the EMR, and so many things have changed. So I was giving a lecture in University of Iowa, HIMSS branch, way back in 2012, I think. That's when the EMRs are breaking in, and then we are ready actively implementing them. I said something about the patient and the physician are equal,
Ah,
and everybody went to gaga about it. But that's actually I learned from the Eastern way too. There, the physician never charged, never took any money. His only goal was how can I make this suffering go away. They learned, and then they gave everything free, and then they kind of sustained with whatever that was given to them, but they did not have this profit oriented business. That's where healthcare should not be business. Other things can be business, but healthcare and teaching in the kids, they should be more like a people who are want to welfare of the patients or welfare of the people, or that kind of nobility, that kind of altruism, that kind of you see, everything money you make it, you pay for it.
absolutely.
Yeah, healthcare should not be money oriented, but we have to invest, we have to research, we have to find new things. That's all fine. But then look at this obesity drug rap. I think in
Like Ozempic and
uh,
Mounjaro
yeah,
and
yeah. See
the
what
GLP-1 antagonists.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they are made it very costly, 1,000 to 1,500 per month.
that is correct. That is correct.
And when you take that medication, you have such a bad nausea, you can't eat anything. Everything is taken away from
Yeah,
you.
you're going to be on Zolfram every day.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really horrible time. So I wrote a book on obesity about non-invasive measures you can do to reduce the obesity, even including the psychological component and all that. I will let you read that PDF file on that.
Okay.
It's a kind of a non-invasive measure, and this is the potential to go around the world, because what I'm saying are not commonsensical, ordinary things anybody can do, but it involves parenting, it involves how we help them psychologically, society wise, how we make these skinny girls as ideal. All those things will be addressed there, but they're all gentle reminds, and then with compassion teaching them this. For example, how do you eat? Tell me one lunch you took it. How do you eat?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Um, Today was a lettuce salad with lettuce, tomato, low-fat dressing, a sandwich, which is carb, but it was with chicken and dressing, and it was amazing. And I did it.
Okay.
I made it all in like 10 minutes.
Now answer me.
In order to eat, let me say this, Dr. Ryan. I think you're gonna have to agree with me on this.
Yeah.
In order to eat like that, you're gonna spend some money.
Yeah.
It's not, and that's the downside.
That's
because
true.
you can tell people, but then that stuff costs. Just to have what I just said is not easy. Yeah. So,
Can I ask you questions now? These are very practical questions, but you will understand what I mean. There's nothing to put you on spot. I think we all do that. Now, did you sit down and eat?
Yes.
Okay. Did you chew very well, like 18 times each gulp?
No.
Okay, that's one down for you. Did you eat in silence?
Did I what?
Eat in silence?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. And then, did you savor the food?
No.
Okay. Did you thank the food?
I said a blessing.
No, not for you. Did you thank the food?
No.
Did you thank the food preparers?
No.
See, all these things you could do. All you need is awareness. Why you have to do all of that? I explained that.
Why would I thank a head of lettuce and a salad wedge? Help me just how does that work?
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. Now you got me. Yeah. Now you got me wondering.
Yeah, because we are all interconnected. The food and us also. Okay, we grow it, we eat it, but this has life there too. The food is giving its life to keep your life. So you're just being grateful. You know what happens is that your gratefulness really gives you happy hormones within you, and also responsibility for growing properly, for not wasting it, for using it for the people who are hungry in other corners of the world. All those qualities inculcated in you just by your meal. I mean, this could be a cultural thing. This could be like a, let's be happy, let's grow our vegetables, let's prepare them well, let's sit down and then appreciatively eat the food, enjoy the food, and thank the food. All these are, there's a lot of thinking behind it. It helps your earth, it helps you the greenery, it helps the topsoil, it helps the animals, and so many things are there, right? So slowly people begin to understand, oh yeah, this is what it is being a human being. So people who are eating and becoming obese, they could cut down so much. First of all, they don't want to eat unless we have to make this kind of habit. If you are not hungry, don't go and eat, but only cultivate the ravenous appetite and then go and eat. That's what I do. I never eat unless I'm hungry, very hungry, not even normal, very, very hungry. Then only I'll eat. This.
I'm just thinking out loud that you could get in a situation where it just becomes a habit. You got to eat because it's lunchtime or it's dinner time or whatever.
No, the habit becomes because you are not allowing your diurnal circles in your own body. There is a physiological circle. So first you become, fasting, and then you kind of become appetite is there, and then you eat, and then you leave it alone. Don't eat it because you are psychologically trained or socially trained, or your taste and everything is allowed. That's one of the biggest problems we have for the obesity. So what you do is you eat early in the evening, 2 hours before you sleep, provided you are having a normal day and a night. In the morning, when you get up, you can do some things to get your appetite up, and then have a very hearty, nice breakfast. And then don't eat any snacks between lunch and breakfast. But all those things have gone. There used to be those habits. Another thing is, when you sit down and eat slowly and munch it and masticate it, then you'll secrete a lot of saliva that will fill one third of your stomach. But if you eat very fast, you don't have the chance to do that. Then instead of 600 calories, you have only taken 400 calories, because the rest of the 200 calories are taken up by the saliva that you secreted by yourself, which is very good too, because saliva also has hormones where the digestion starts, and then they make a chyme much better. The chyme is really in the stomach, right? And then it is broken down, absorbed better, and then because you're hungry, those things operate much better at the molecular level, and then you digest the material much faster, and then you produce less waste. It's all a social thing, it's all a cultural thing.
You're kind of deep, right?
Yeah.
You understand that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, your thoughts and theories are very, very, yeah, I get it.
This was there before, Bob.
I know.
This was all there, even in America, this was there. But then we kind of, sleep through this. Nowadays, you can have ubiquitous availability of bad food. This my assistant, who was in the office, she's only 20s at the time. She got to office around 17 years as a medical assistant. This girl, very tiny, but then she's eating the dollar meal in the McDonald's. Not only she is eating, she already has a husband and 2 kids, and she's feeding them too, because she wants to save money. Even though she has money, she was not spending it. Then we took her blood. Her cholesterol was 260 at the age of 20. So this processed food is really producing all these chronic diseases. That much we all agree. All the scientists agree that this processed food is causing, maintaining, and worsening the chronic disease, and that chronic disease are taking away a lot of money from us in the healthcare budget. Like, you are smart enough to say this, I want to try myself and control it, and you did a beautiful job. But many people don't do, and they succumb to it, and they go down, 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 and they won't be functional. So I think what I was talking about is cultivate the wellness oriented health systems, not just in the hospitals and clinics, but in the house, in the society, around the country, around the world. And also change the culture a little bit, revisit them, understand them, why we are doing what we are doing. So, health policy, health culture, if they are changed, I think we'll have more wellness oriented health systems, which is good for us in the long run. See, I became more wellness oriented after 10, 12 years ago. I think that's when I started this. And then from then onwards, I became better health wise and no medications, and better energy wise, and better clear thinking, keep it quiet and all. So I came to examine what they call self realization. Find out who you really are. You are not your body, you are not your mind, but you are that essential life force within you. Once you establish in there, enormous health benefits. First of all, you don't think too much unnecessarily. Second of all, you can really give time for the body and mind to revive themselves. Good sleep, good rest, and all that. Right now people are sleeping agitated, and they don't get the benefit of the deep sleep because they don't know what is deep sleep unless they take medication. For me, I don't have to do anything, or no matter how urgent things are there, I can put them aside for the night and sleep very well. That can be cultivated by people.
Wow.
Yeah, my
well,
thing.
Thank you, brother.
My thing is pretty deep, and
every time I have these conversations with you, I know where it's going to go. But you know what? It's almost like you've taught me so much that there's certain things you've got to make time, and you got to listen, because some of it sounds like minutia, but it's not. That's the key. I remember when I first started talking to you, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and it was like my world was just a constant just run. Now I don't let people do that. I don't do that anymore.
Very good.
But
very good. Yeah.
But the upside is I don't have responsibilities, but I'm actually generating more, I guess you could say, or I have a much higher threshold. I don't put up with BS, and the people that I do work with are extremely on the higher end, So that's awesome.
Oh, you should see.
You taught me, go out and hang out with a tree. Remember that?
Yes, I was mentioning that too, because nature coming close makes it this much easier, Rob. How? Because you learn to you appreciate the natural rhythms in your own body and mind and your spirit, and you kind of connect with everything that is natural. Then it will be much easier to do these things. Keep the body and the mind as natural as possible. That means you got to allow them to revive by themselves. The rest, the relaxation, like I'm talking about, I can do several rooms in a day. But after I learned how to end each room and not worry about it, like I told you about my patients, what I do, the amount of load on my mind has gone down. And I was not depleted with my energy. I try to teach that to my colleagues and everybody. They have such a hard time because they don't try to really implement them continuously. They do once in a while. Meanwhile, this assault with all this technology has come, and for example, notifications. I put off notifications. That's it, But then they allow the notifications that respond to each notification. They're drawn to different things all the time. That's a pure waste of time. These Meta, Apple, all these people came, right? One time congressional hearing, and they would not understand that they are destroying the attention of kids. But that's a major, major, probably brain drain for us down the line. On the other hand, if you allow all the mundane things to be done by ChatGPT and other things, and you could use that time to evolve this way, that's what I am doing. I'm very happy with the AI in that sense. I kind of use it to do lots of things that I used to take a lot more time. Now they are cut down. I kind of had to learn it. I learned it as sincerely. Now I can do prompt engineering with ChatGPT. I can do a lot of videos and books very fast, all that. I'm very happy with that kind of output I have now. But I have a lot of time to spend for myself, my own spiritual activities. So it's like what I say in my company, modern scientific medicine plus ancient wisdom. There is a way to combine them and not be dogmatic that this is good, not that is good, and also be really rational about what we are talking about. So I don't claim myself any nationality anymore. I don't claim any religion anymore, but I take input from everybody. So there's a project about science and spirituality. That's how I'm doing. So you should listen to all my projects, then you will be impressed. I'm sure. I don't tell everybody. I'm telling you.
No, I'm impressed. I just sometimes the stuff you say is so high end that it makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's that guilt side of me that's just like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? So
I
appreciate you, brother.
No, you should join this fellowship of self-realization. I think that will go pretty deep, and your ADHD will come down, and you will be much more productive than you are now. I can guarantee you that. That much. So, but it takes time. It's very difficult for people to stay on that wavelength, which I understand. But they will come to that, and there's a lot of fun. There is that wellness club that's going very well, and there's talks. Some people come, some people, but one person comes like you, Rob, because we know each other. We are associated with so much. Even after we meet so many months, see how much discussion we had today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that I just remembered your the discussion groups you were talking about. Say that one more time. You just said it, the word.
It's about fellowship of self-realization.
Yeah, and it's your.
Actually, I developed a course and a book and everything for that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
They're there. That's awesome. You see, there are a lot of projects are happening. This science and spirituality. There is latest thing is about the quantum body and the healing response within us. That you should listen to, Robert. I think you'll like it.
Healing response within us. See, that's very
deep,
ancient thinking, medical.
No, that's what is.
Before we complicated things,
No, what is coming is this quantum body is from the quantum mechanics, right? And then the healing response is from the biological response. But what is amazing is how much the ancient knew about these things in sciences of Ayurveda, yoga, and all that, And now it all coming together. So I'm very happy science has taken up these things. For example, consciousness. They're so much close they are coming to what the ancient view was. Many people don't understand. They can't really even grasp it. That's why I don't discuss them. But then, as scientific doctors, we have a responsibility to explore what is coming out of the scientific struggle and bring it to the patient, right? That's where I feel responsible about. If I understand I'm enjoying the ancient wisdom and modern medicine, I want to bring it to my patients. Not rub it in, but at least educate them. Hi, Carlos. How are you? Jacob, how are you? I forgot about them. Both of them are there, so.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rao.
How are you, Carlos? Nice to see you.
I'm doing pretty good. Just, busy with life and being self-employed. So that's about it. But I saw you're having your talk, so I thought I'd pop in and say hello.
Okay, very good. Very good. We are talking about some deep stuff because Bob is here. He's also a good friend of mine. So we're talking about Jacob always comes. So I'm talking about mind and no mind today. So that's a deep discussion. If you want, you can catch up from the beginning in the recording, So. But Carlos... we've
been going for a while?
Yeah, it's going since 6 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah. But, I talked some of it with you because you were a student in my wellness club. So you had some exposure to it. So. Carlos also contributes to the planet well-being, and he's kind of developing things that helps the planet as a whole. Okay? How is that going, Carlos? Are you doing very well?
Yeah, my day job is I'm a patent attorney, but because of that, I'm also an inventor.
Yeah.
And we've got our patents we have greenhouses that grow fish, plants, and mushrooms in extreme environments. And I've had a greenhouse operational in my backyard going on 12 years. And most recently, we got connected with a retired Air Force general that's connected to the VA. And he wants to help us with our first pilot project, which is a 1-acre pilot project with 4 passive solar tiny homes that don't require any heating or cooling. And then a central greenhouse that's 1,000 square feet so that the veterans can not only feed themselves, but they can also sell the organic produce to local supermarkets and local restaurants and create wealth for their families. So we're trying to address homelessness as well as food at the same time.
I think you should talk to Bob about any financial avenues. You want somebody? He's very good, right, Rob?
Well, I tend to be the one to give out a little bit of advice. What's going on, Carlos? How are things going for you, buddy? Well, I've been self-employed for a while as a patent attorney, and my passion project, as I call it, is Dream Habitat LLC. It's a veteran-owned company, and our mission is. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm asking questions, okay? Yeah, go ahead. We both went to law school, so you know how that is. It's like so. You have you're a patent attorney, which pays the bills, but that's obviously not your That's obviously not your passion. I can tell by the tonality in your voice. That's not really. I'm passionate about patent law, but my real mission is to feed and house homeless veterans. I was a homeless veteran. So are you a veteran? Yes, sir. So guess what? There are a ton of opportunities right now because there is a crisis for housing in this country. You know that, right? And if you have an LLC, which way I don't need to teach it, but I am going to tell you. If you have an LLC, set up an LLC or 501c3, right? And then go and set yourself up with your with an EIN, and then get set up with be a provider through Dun and Bradstreet. Are you following me so far on that? What I'm saying? I think it's not that hard. Then you can go, and there are grants available right this second for people that can solve this problem. All right. So if that's your passion, dealing on veteran affairs, and I don't know, are you a veteran? Yes, I am. Okay, so you're going to have a tremendous advantage over anybody else. In other words, you're going to have. I don't want to say. One of my companies that I own is a construction company, right? The person I actually have run it is a veteran. because I get contracts with like Nellis Air Force Base and places like that I don't have to bid as low as anybody else. I can just get it because they're veteran owned, right? Think about that. So if you have the structure set up, and then you go to where the need is, where all this grant money is. Now, I'm going to give you some keywords. Number one is you're going to want to figure out, either do it yourself or have one of your paralegals, or probably just nail it out yourself, but to do grant writing, okay? Because they're going to put out an RFP, and some of them are so desperate right now, they don't even do RFPs up to $500,000. So in other words, they'll just give you an American Express card, okay? You're going to go, and you're going to go to, I was going to say eOscar, but it's not eOscar. It's going to be, you're going to get set up as a vendor you're going to get set up as a vendor. Stand by one second, let me see. DNB, business, government.
I haven't done the Dun and Bradstreet yet, but Dream Habitat LLC is a veteran-owned and certified company, and we want to be a B Corp. You know, we're a public good company. The reason why do you want to be? Why do you want to be a B Corp? Help me understand that, because is that? Well, a B Corp is basically where, you know, you can do both for-profit and non-profit.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that there's tons of commercial applications for the technology, as well as the government applications. But I am registered in all the grant systems like sam.gov and all these other places.
Okay, you know what, brother? That's exactly what I was going to say. Sam.gov. Okay, now you know what? Go in there and change your modalities of everything you have. You're a personal expert on working with counties and cities on building housing developments. You're a master land developer accentual, you know, to help people that are dealing with these issues right now. This is the time. This is the time to use all that education that you have to be able to put you in the driver's seat. Okay, because think about it. They're putting out not even RFPs. They just want solutions right this second. Okay, I can't tell you how many $500,000. It only goes to $500,000. But $500,000 construction projects I've done for Air Force bases, because they don't have time. They just want it now, right? And in your case, you're fixing a problem which is huge. Think about right now how many people are being evicted. Think about what's going on with the mortgage market right now. Think about all the adjustable rate mortgages where there's absolutely a tremendous number of people who are getting kicked out on the street right this second. Carlos, you've got an open door, bud. You've got an open door. And by using your, where are you licensed out of, what state?
We're licensed out of Virginia, and we're certified through the SBA for the veteran-owned certified. And then, of course, I'm set up with the sam.gov. I put in for an NIH grant. I'm sorry, not NIH. I put in for an Army grant. I also put in for a National Science Foundation grant. Unfortunately, they both were denied.
Okay.
But
now why were they denied, Carlos?
Well, the Army grant said that I didn't have enough of the commercialization aspect, and the NSF grant, it wasn't technical enough for them. They're looking for like nanotech and sort of super high end. Where I really need to be is USDA and connections with the VA.
Right, let's talk about the USDA for a second, because I think you're right on point. Tell me why you think USDA is the magic crux of this.
My understanding. Well, I've heard, at least I've studied the USDA, and they have low interest farm loans for like $600,000. So if you have somebody that has a farm that has the land, you can get very, very favorable loans, not grants, but loans at super good interest, up to $600,000. I have not explored the USDA grants, but they do have a specific category for improvements to aquaponics. Now, the NSF and the Army grant did not have a specific category for my technology, but right. The USDA actually has an improvement to aquaponics, which is exactly what I designed. I integrated mushroom cultivation.
Give me the logo low-end version of aquaponics.
Aquaponics is, yeah, it's simple. It's aquaponics is where the fish produce water for the plants with nitrates in it, and the plants clean the water for the fish. So it's a closed loop system that's really good on water, and it produces vegetables and fish. What I've done that's unique, and I'm the first to do it, I've integrated mushroom cultivation as part of the aquaponic system. And this is what allows the greenhouse to feed a human everything they need to survive. Because the mushrooms are so dense in protein and other vitamins and minerals. In fact, vegans live off of mushrooms, so you can completely cut out meat by substituting mushrooms. And the advantage is that mushrooms production is so, what's the right term? Such a small footprint produces so much that I can feed one human everything they need to survive 24/7 in a 10 by 20 space. A 10 by 20.
All right. Let me give you some feedback, okay?
Sure.
I think that what you have is accelerated to the most macular, the most. It's very, very, very specific. Okay. I think if you go to BLM or Bureau of Land Management or people that are in charge of our aquifers or all that stuff, and figure out where their needs are and reverse engineer what you have on a larger platform. Meaning, don't go so deep, but figure out what they want, then sell them what you already have. Does that make sense? Because it's kind of like what I tell people when they set up a business. We do what's called NAICS codes. Maybe you know what that is, right? Right. So NAICS is what is your business? Well, in my situation, it can be consulting, it can be construction, it can be. But I want to be as wide and as broad as possible, so that way I can dig in and grab whatever I want, right, through SAM.gov. So broad reverse engineer and broaden your way out of what it is that you have, and then figure out who your ideal customer would be, and then put it together with an informational pitch deck, right? Which is what we do when we're in that's basically a pitch deck is nothing more than it's basically a complaint. Yeah, it's a summary, but it's all it is. It's a complaint with your analysis of the situation and what your points and authorities. There you go. So of what you're doing, and that's what's you're gonna hit it, bro. You're there, Carlos. I just think that by going so pinpointed so quickly, you're gonna lose out on where your money's gonna be. Does that make sense at all?
That makes sense. So basically, look for the genus rather than focusing on the species.
Exactly, because nobody understands the genus. And I hate to say that you can talk to the top of the top of the top. Now you're going to find some absolutely incredible biologists or people that are amazingly smarter, the people that write dissertations and papers that are going to get what you're doing. However, the people that write the checks are going to have no clue what the hell you just said, bud. Right.
And, from the grants, I do have a pretty impressive list of letters of recommendation and letters of intent. I've got some letters, for example, one of a close friend of mine he's a retired colonel, and now he's working for the DOD in their green technology division. He wrote me a beautiful letter of recommendation. I have another personal friend of mine that works for the VA veteran program. She's a social worker and she works with the greenhouse programs, wrote me a letter of recommendation. The problem that I'm running into, I think, is some of these grants that I went for. First of all, the NSF is very, I had to write this very unique, problem, like scientific problem. And if it's not sexy enough, they're not interested. They're looking for super sexy stuff. The Army had a very specific grant that they were going for, which was improvements to construction technology. So we didn't quite fit in, perfectly. But then when I started looking at the USDA,
that to me sounds beautiful. Improvements to construction technology. I mean, think about that. But the thing is, what do we have to be? We got to be broad, right? And think about what they want to see. So by using your friends, bro, everything you're telling me is a home run. Everything, except for the fact that you're going too granular, right? It's kind of like we're you're interviewing a client in a criminal thing. You know it's going to be, we're going to do a deal with the prosecutor and you're going to get your $25,000 fee, but there's not even a chance in hell you're going to trial. So why are we spending 28 hours preparing for trial when we know that it's just going to be a slam? Does that make sense?
No, it does, and I've been talking to a lot of business consultants. And one person suggested, and I think it's a great suggestion, and I've taken courses in sort of how to pitch nonprofits to corporations. You just don't ask them for money. You give them like, this is how we're going to present you on our website. You give them sort of a total package, so it makes them very easy to give you the money. And, there's a lot of corporations talking, everybody's talking about helping homeless veterans or veterans in general. And the idea is to have sort of this campaign where we send letters to these corporations with web pages showing exactly how we're going to promote them on our website, and telling them, look, you could be a sponsor for us, like a corporate grant, basically. And my understanding is there's a lot of corporations that are looking to sort of, for whatever reason, to say they're helping veterans, that they're good guys.
Carlos, you're on target. You're absolutely 1,000% on target. And I think what you got is basically what you're doing is you're showing them the solution in advance of their request for you to show them the solution. So basically you're saying, you don't even ask me, I already know what you need. Right? So by the time they put it in a box and say, I need this, you've already got the solution, and then it's just a matter of getting the money, which is the easiest part.
Yeah, my understanding, at least from the course I took, it was a nonprofit course on pitching to corporations, specifically nonprofits. They said the mistake that all nonprofits make is they randomly cold call these super busy executives, right, without really a plan of how they're going to promote them. And that was the biggest takeaway I got from that course, was that you need to make it easy for the people that have the money to give you the money by showing them exactly what you're going to do for them, so that way all they have to do is say, hey, this is what they're going to do. As soon as they send you the money, the web page goes up, and all of a sudden they're getting the publicity that they want and deserve, by the way.
Bam. That's it, bro. That's it. You're right on target. There's no question. Now, what I would also say is you have two very high-level people who are in a position to assist you in assisting themselves and showing you the way through that maze we call bureaucracy, okay? So they know Jane over at this place is looking for this, and they know Mary, and they know Fred, who's over in the development side, and let them do the research and figure out what they need internally. And these friends of yours, if you can get them on board to help you, and basically give them everybody's self-interested. Let's just be real. So what you just pitched me a second ago is you just said that everybody wants to be seen as a beneficiary or assisting people that are homeless veterans. True or false? True. So what you want to do is you want to say, you know what, on our website, I'm going to make you a platinum sponsor of this, and we're going to put you, whatever. I mean, number one, if you don't have a website, man, we just need to talk, Carlos, because you know what?
We do have a website. Can I put my email address in the chat? And by the way, I don't give a shit. People are always worried about doxing.
No, this is a very high-end group right here. But this is not my room. This is Dr. Rausser. But when he told me, I don't usually ever say anything in Dr. Rausser, unless he asks me to. But with this kind of stuff, he knows exactly what my strengths are, and I'm trying to add.
I just added you as a connection.
I'm trying to add you back and saying I've already hit the. So I'm gonna print this out real quick because I'm making it. Let's see. There it is.
And I'll just tell you my email address is really easy. It's jackal@dreamhabitat.org. Dreamhabitat.org.
Can you put it in the chat?
The chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat for me. Okay.
You got it.
And then do you have a pen there? You have a pen right there with you?
I'm taking notes, actually.
Okay, good. I need you to write down my email. It's Robert, ROBERT, at WCI Law, LAW.com.
At WCI Law.
Yeah, Robert at WCI Law. Oh no, do Robert.CEO at WCI. That way this gets the right team. Okay.
Oh, so you're a lawyer also, Robert?
I went to law school, brother. I hire attorneys.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat it for you just to make sure I got it right. I got ROBERT CEO
Yeah.
at
Yep.
WCI.com, Whiskey Charlie India.
Yeah, WCI Law.
Law.
So WCI Law, LAW.
Got it. Awesome, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then also make sure you also go to LinkedIn and add me on LinkedIn. I'll accept your night because I think I got 3,000 or 4,000 people just in a whole new thing on LinkedIn. But I definitely we need to connect, and I think that we're on the same page. I just want to see you spread your wings larger. Using it's very specific, so it's not something we can nail out here in this room. But obviously, Dr. Rob wouldn't be suggesting that he talk to you if he didn't know what we do, you know. And you'll never ever hear me pitch in a room at all about what we do. However, when you're talking about the government, man, you're talking about serious money and the stuff you've got. There's something there that maybe it's good to have a second set of eyes on something when you're talking about the SBA and all those things, and maybe I can assist you in ways that
I need the help. Okay, I need the help. You know, my background is engineering. You know, I'm an electrical engineer and a patent attorney. But you know I can learn all the business stuff, and I have in a sense that I've grown my own law firm. But it's really not my passion. You know what I'm saying? For me, like the business is not the passion.
Yeah, but you got to realize that's you're good at what you're doing. I'm extremely good at what I do.
Exactly.
You know, and I just ask you to have it. I've known Dr. Rob for 3 years now, so give him a one-on-one call, and you'll see how we handle things. But you know, there's a video that let me put it in the chat.
Let's put it this way. You know, Dr. Rao is a close friend of mine.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I operate on this function. A friend of a friend is always a friend for me. So
you know it. People don't understand that, though, do they? They do not understand how powerful that is and how powerful that play is. You know, and there's a video. I'm putting it in the chat right now, so you can watch this YouTube, and then I'll show you how to do this for you. Because what we're going to build your brand, and that's exactly what it is. So we're to just take out the law, take out your name. We're going to build a brand. The brand is what's going to get people to give you money and just hand it over to you. It sounds weird, I know, but when you're telling me you're already set up with SAM.gov, and I know how to manipulate the D&B system to, you know, get you set up so that you've got an antiquated credit history and all that, you're talking some serious benefits there, buddy. So
awesome, Robert. I'm going to add you on LinkedIn, and thank you so much. I
got it.
You know, I randomly came to this room. Like I haven't been in Dr. Rao's room. I think it's been a couple of months or so. But you know, every once in a while, like I'm like, you know, I'm going to pop in, and it seems like the universe is trying to connect me to the right people. I just can't explain it how it's happening. It's every time I go, wow, you know, here I jump in this room and I meet you. I didn't jump in to meet you, by the way. I jumped in just to say hello, Dr. Rao. But this is, you know, the universe is working towards me. I don't want to sound too foo-foo or whatever on that.
I got you. No, and I'm on the same page as you. I totally get what you're saying. And you know how it is. It's very rare that people are on the same intellectual level that you are to get what you're trying to do at the level that you're trying to do it. So all we got to do is, you know, it's like trying to do patent law with never done a patent before. You know, once you understand it, it's simple. We just put it in the system. However, in this situation, you're talking about stuff that, you know, there's a need for it. It's a matter of who and where and what type of governmental agency is the one that's going to be the beneficiary of your benefit. And I mean, who the hell can argue with the fact that you have a solution towards, which I'm not quite sure about mushrooms and the nexus of mushrooms and veteran housing, but who's going to say anything against veteran housing? They're not. Because every day you watch TV, you see, you know, this lady who's single has got 4 kids that are out on the streets because she signed some abusive lease, you know, and those are the people that we like to help. So that's where I'm at, and that's where I got my start, you know, just basically using all my skills to assist people and to bring them, you know, wherever they needed to be. So Carlos, send me an email and let's connect, okay? And thank you, Dr. Rao, for giving me the space and opportunity to speak with this wonderful gentleman.
Sure.
Hey, Robert, I tried to find you on LinkedIn, but I couldn't for some reason. But if you find me, it's Carlos R. Villamar, and I don't hide my name on this app. So
no, that's fine. I'm logged in right now. So it's CARLOSR Villamar VILL. Spell the last name again.
Villamar. Picture of, well, Villamar. Villamar.
Carlos Andrade and Villamar. No, Carlos Villamar Software Engineering Center. Carlos Villamar IPR Services.
Did you put Carlos R. Villamar?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't put a dot.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. You know what? It's only. You know what? It's not showing up with an R. Let me freaking.
Just tell me the city. What's the city? It'll give me the name of the city that you're in.
I'm going to give you my profile. I'm in Falls Church, Virginia.
Okay, so I'll put attorney. That should.
Yeah, and here's a link to my profile actually in the chat.
Okay. I've been talking to people all day long about the importance. There it is. Let's see. Abogado at Estadio Judicial Shar.
That's not me.
Valimar.
Look in the chat. The chat has a link to the actual my profile.
All right, there it is, bud. I'm connecting right now. Got it, and it's pending.
By the way, Rob and Carlos, we were talking about earlier in other room of Robert's room of starting a LinkedIn Live by two of us together, and I'm also want to.
He's teaching me, Carlos. By the way.
Yeah.
I have a syndicated podcast in 38 countries and 4 languages. So we're worldwide, and Dr. Rao is talking right now about what I'm going to have to start doing. I didn't even do myself. Go ahead, Dr. Rao. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I want to. I got courses with my friend Joe Applebaum, and we want to teach not only LinkedIn profile and all that, but also Sales Navigator, how to be effective with that, and also how to involve AI to do your profile and all. It would be useful for you, Carlos, probably. You want to come to those rooms, okay? We don't know when we are going to do that, but we will determine. I probably will send a flyer, about that. But I want to do, apart from my philosophical rooms, these rooms too, that I can teach people.
I can also offer you something. I always heard that you should never ask without offering. I can offer to teach innovation protection, a room on innovation protection. That's what I specialize in. Mm-hmm. And I've taken startups from, napkin to getting bought. And it's all real world techniques. And, I'm putting that as an offer to both you guys. If you ever need somebody to talk about innovation protection, that's what I specialize in. I developed a course in Scandinavia, both at the University of Jyväskylä, in innovation protection.
Yeah.
And it's something that, a lot of the kids aren't learning because it's not getting taught in the business schools.
Yeah.
Intellectual property protection is not being taught at engineering and business schools.
Yeah.
And I've lectured to kids from MIT, Caltech, Stanford, these big schools, entrepreneurial schools.
Yeah.
And they're telling me they're not learning what I'm teaching them, so I'll put that offer out to you guys. If you ever need somebody to talk about innovation protection,
sure.
I'd be more than happy. This is how I give back to the community, by the way, is by teaching them minimize attorney time.
I also want to tell you, because I have not told anybody so far in this room, at least, I'm doing this retreat. Maybe I mentioned it, but I didn't say the details. It's about how do you survive this AI innovation and a lot of technology coming our way, and at the same time keep our sanity. So I was doing that retreat for 2 days on April 20th, 21st. But Rob, we can add that as a topic too. How do you deal with information overload, stress, and all this briefly? But mainly, it's about technical stuff on the LinkedIn, and I can invite people I know that are pretty good at it too. So we can help people to really improve their business acumen on the LinkedIn and the Sales Navigator.
Yeah, I just want to say, Dr. Rao, you know what? You are so right. Because you know what, as Carlos said when he came in here, he didn't have any expectations. There's nothing in the title that is saying, come in and. But you know what? It's when people work together, the talent pool is large, in the education level, the people that are involved. There you are, Carlos. I just got your acceptance. Thank you. The talent pool is huge, and the mind pool is amazing. And like right now, I'm sitting here looking at things that I wasn't thinking about 2 hours ago, like for Carlos, right? thinking about the things that probably he's not thinking about, but things that I just do in my daily life and handling things like what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I've because I have ADD and because I'm kind of smart, I guess, I'm already figuring out a lineup on how you take what he has. Even though I don't understand it, I don't have to understand it. That's not my job to understand it. My job is to understand the particulars at the right time. And to be able to take him, package him, brand him, and put him in front of the right people, right, that can give him what he needs. And he already has the data set. He has the abilities to do what he needs to do with his grant writing. He's already done all that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of taking it and it's almost like this, Dr. Rao. Mm-hmm. Getting this, sometimes if you look at things with a second set of eyes, like when you lose something in your house, you're like, dang, where is that?
Yeah.
And I can say that because I've lost those. I have one of those automated vacuums and I always lose it. And I'm like, how the heck? This house is like it doesn't, it's how the heck can I lose something like that?
Yeah.
And you know what? When I get another set of eyes, bang, there it is. I didn't even see it. So it's just awesome that that's what we do by helping each other. So way to go, buddy. Thank you.
We will do the LinkedIn profiles for people and then help them with things that they could do. Instead of giving a lecture, we can point out the areas they can do right there if they want to come and expose their profiles. That way, it is a good service done to them right away. We can do that. Yeah.
Incredible. I feel, every time I meet Dr. Rao, I love him and I'm taking yoga from him, and he's an incredible human being, and the level of knowledge he has on sort of holistic approach to life and medicine. He has helped me so tremendously in my own life by the latest thing that you helped me with, Dr. Rao, was you told me when I'm meditating to treat thoughts like objects. What a most beautiful thing that he gave me as a gift, because now I look at them as spheres that are entering my brain. And as soon as I see them affecting my physiology, I can just push them away and say, no, it's just a thought. It doesn't need to change my emotions or my physiology. And it's really given me an incredible superpower, because as you know, thoughts, as Dr. Rao has taught us, thoughts will drive physiology, right? You can control your physiology through your thoughts and through breathing. And that was an incredible gift that you gave me, Dr. Rao, is to treat thoughts as objects, which is, it seems so simple, but I had never thought of it. And I would have a thought come in, it would kind of take over my body and I'd be getting anxious or whatever. But ever since you taught me that, I recognize it and I'm able to sort of just let it float on by. So very beautiful.
Good. Yeah, I think you should listen to the beginning of this talk, Carlos. I think a lot of will be reinforced on there too, I was talking to Rob also about that. This is kind of not really big deal, because if you know that you are a experience of the thoughts or the awareness of the thought, you can be very thoughtful, deep thinking when you need it, but learn to really end it so that you can move on to the next one. It's basically being in the life. You can be in the mind and not in life, or you can be here and now, not in the mind, in the present. So that's not what I do. So that becomes a beautiful thing to go through everything, all through the day, from morning to evening. Actually, you will be handling more stuff that way, because you are not conflicted and you are not really losing energy because you are fighting or resisting or feeling guilty about some thoughts and all that. All that will be going. Basically, you have reactionary thoughts will not be there. As you progress, it's not going to happen.
The other thing that you taught me, which I was getting hung up with, because by the way, Robert, I'm also ADD, ADHD, so I know how our brains work. And Dr. Rao, because of that, I have extreme focus, but of course my brain can switch very quickly. But Dr. Rao gave me some beautiful, beautiful advice that I'll share right now. Because I was being very frustrated. I would get up in the morning, and the first thing I would do is my meditation and breath work. And then I would want to do more sort of fun work, like go to my greenhouse and mess around, all this passion work. And Dr. Rao said, look, your work pays for your passion. In other words, you need to get some work done first thing in the morning rather than at the end of the day. So I completely switched my schedule around because of Dr. Rao's guidance. So I wake up in the morning, I do my gratitude practice, and I knock some work out. And getting that early win, like it changes your whole attitude. Like I'll get some work done first thing in the morning, and then I'll reward myself by going to the greenhouse and playing with the fish and the plants. And for some reason, that minor little change has enabled me to do so much more work, where before I was just putting it off and just working on my passion stuff and never getting to the stuff that pays the bills. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Rao sort of, has helped me tremendously on that. And I've become so much more productive now that I do that. So again, thank you, Dr. Rao, for that advice that you gave me a long, long time ago.
It is the delayed gratification in modern management, but then actually in Sanskrit terms, prayas versus shreyas. What is good for you in the long run is shreyas, they called it. What is instant gratification is not going to be good for you is prayas. So something poisonous can be very honey at the end of it, but the honey that you consume could be a poison at the end of it. So understanding that and then not allowing our tendencies to go towards taking it easy or gratify myself right now, that you can delay it, then you have the confidence of doing something that makes you feel like, oh yeah, I have accomplished, I have this self. I was just having an article on Bruce Lee. He wrote like maybe 10, 20 things that he would like to achieve by the end of 2 years or so. And to the day, he achieved everything. So what he needed was the intention and self-will. And also,
did you say Bruce Lee?
Yeah, Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee. Yeah. I've read all of his books, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do, an incredible book. And he was a practitioner of he was a Buddhist, if I recall.
He is a philosopher student, and also he understood a lot of things. But the biggest thing was J. Krishnamurti is somebody who talks about liberating the thought. When he was injured by the back pain, he was laid down, and the doctors told him that he will never able to walk up again. Maybe he needs 6 months to get up or something like that. They said, forget about the fighting, he will never be able to. This was before the Enter the Dragon. So those 6 months he was staying home, he went through Krishnamurti's books again, not just reading, but he was actually going through the works, And Krishnamurti has the way of leading you to this no mind I was talking about, to liberating your own mind and making it a weapon for yourself, So he was able to overcome all the inhibitions that his mind may be whispering, and then he came out of that recovering very well. This is very important in psychosomatic medicine. So I bring it in so many other places too. But basically, if you can have that kind of thought and mind suppressed, even if you have a serious illness, it will not get worse. On the other hand, if you go on worrying about it, go on imagining things about it, you will secrete stress hormones. They will really make you worse. That's why we find some patients react very violently when I tell them the diagnosis, versus somebody takes it easy. The second person usually makes it well. It's very important to have that. Yeah.
Dr. Rao, sorry to interrupt, but back to the Bruce Lee thing. Mm-hmm. It's interesting what you said about what the philosophy he was studying, and I've studied Bruce Lee extensively. Yeah. My background is martial arts.
Yeah.
And he used to say a style without a style. It almost reminded me of a mind. You just said something earlier, a mind without a thought. I forgot the exact sentence that you made.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it made me think of a style without a style. In other words,
that is very important.
Fighting is like a tree, and every leaf is different.
Yeah.
And no one leaf is better than the other.
Exactly.
And what you do is you take in all the knowledge and you adapt it to your own body, because no human is identical to another human.
There is something in Carlos in ancient wisdom. The knowledge that you learn, you got to dump it sometime to really progress. That's a very contradictory statement, like, but it's not really bad, because suppose you have a good eye coordination and then you are not burdened by the tradition. That means what somebody else have taught a method, you are not burdened by it. Then your own body and mind intelligence invents a spontaneous response that's not in any style. That's why he said no style, style without no style. And so he's not burdened by traditional thought or psychological markings in the mind. So you have everything you can give in that instant.
Oh, beautiful, Dr. Rat. You surprise me every single time. Like, here you are talking about Bruce Lee, and I never would have ever guessed that you would know about him. That's really...
No, I know about him much depth because he's a phenomena of human excellence in a way, and he kind of mark of excellence, mark of achievement, and mark of really making the body mind one unit, not like the modern where you think I am better at thinking, that's why I will live a better life. No, you got to understand the body's intelligence and bring it and combine the intelligence that you have in the mind. But if you are burdened by your own conclusions and traditions, then you will lose the edge there. Bruce Lee is a very important phenomena. Of course, he was famous because of the all the martial arts movies. I enjoyed that too. But personally, I'm very favorite of them because he represents his martial arts were trained by so many young kids. Millions of people became much more healthy and well because they took those martial arts. That's why I like him.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Have you taken any martial arts, Dr. Rao?
I know Tai Chi. You remember the Tai Chi that was supposed to go to, what is that, Kung Fu series by David Carradine?
Yes.
Yeah, that was supposed to go to Bruce Lee, but then something happened. He didn't get it. But then I saw that Carradine's entire series. There's a lot of philosophy discussed in that movie, and also the moves of the Tai Chi is very health restoring because it involves bringing the universal energy into that, and also it's not involving any weights. You just use your own hands and all that. I learned the beautiful movements, and so because I'm a yogi, it's much easier for me to get that. But even if I stand up and do a couple of cranes and all that, my energy is boosted, like just like that. So I recommend to old people who have joint problems, balance problems, I recommend Tai Chi, which I demonstrate and show them.
You are amazing, Dr. Rao. And I'm not just saying that. I don't know how I met you. I think just you used to give talks on Clubhouse all the time.
Yeah.
And I think I popped in one of your rooms one time and you were talking about ancient philosophies and spirituality, things that are very, very interesting to me.
Actually, that's what I do. I live in America. I live as a modern physician and work and all that. But then I bring in ancient wisdom principles and live them for myself. So it's a beautiful thing.
Tell me about this retreat. Is that in real life retreat, or you mentioned a retreat?
It's a retreat of 2 days, a few hours each. This is going to take up what are the things that we could do in a daily life to really not be affected by the AI-induced changes. You can, like me, you can use the AI very constructively, but also pay attention to the things that it can harm you. That's what I was going to teach you, so that you can take some skills in terms of the diet, your exercise, your sleep.
And in real life, or is it like, are we actually meeting somewhere? Because I would love to attend.
Oh, I mean, some people may come here. Yeah, but it's going to be online too because many people are different places. They come to me, right? So I kind of put
No,
it.
but you're going to have an in-person. In other words,
Yeah.
I've been wanting to meet you in person. I've never met you in person.
Yeah, I'm in
And
Clinton, Iowa. I have a yoga studio, big one in the basement. We made the entire basement as a yoga studio. So some
yes,
people
I've
come.
seen it.
Yeah, some people come and then they do that with me. But online people, a lot of people come. But they will have to
You're going to
spend,
come.
yeah, spend 4 hours,
Come.
4 hour each. And I will send you the flyer. Then you can sign up.
Please, please.
Yeah, this is very well thought out and then put in there, and that agenda is easy for people to really understand and pick it up and go and do it. That's what I recommend. You may understand things, but then unless you do them with your body and with your mind, you may not get those skills I'm talking about. But if you do them even few days a week, I think you will be well off, because this is going to be not going to be there. The AGI is going to come, and beyond that, a lot of machine control will be there, a lot of robotics will be there. So how are you going to do you with yourself when you have all these machines take over? So,
Wow, that's super interesting. I'm getting ready to write an article, a legal article. I write it for the lay people. I write like a one-page article. I recently took a course at the PTO on AI and inventorship. In other words, can artificial intelligence be listed as an inventive entity in a United States patent application? And really, really interesting, topic. And I'm going to be updating. I had an article I wrote many years ago called very dumb, not dumbly, I can't think, don't let your patent sync with the inventorship.
Yeah, there's
and
something.
It talks about what is an inventor and how to determine inventorship. And now with AI, there's new rules that are being promulgated on how you can use AI for inventions and how to properly use AI for inventions so that you don't run into trouble under the evolving U.S. patent law. So,
No,
very relevant, Dr. Rao.
The consciousness, creation, invention, all these things are going on. A couple of surprises were the large language model constructive people, when they are doing it, they only trained in English. And suddenly the system jumps into something like a Persian language, and they got a scare because how did it got it? We never programmed it. That's something of concern. And the other concern is the machine learning is going to be so uh, spontaneous and independent that they fear, and that's why Elon Musk is really angry with OpenAI. They are afraid that he is going to take over much sooner than they anticipated, and also some rogue hands may use this. So there are certain things that we could do, but whether the machines are going to be sentient and conscious, that is debatable. And many of the people think it may not, but we never know. So we'll see.
Dr. Rao, hey, it's Rob. I have to get on a conference call.
Okay.
By the way, that's a whole new can of worms. The sentient issue with AI. That's you're talking about no man's land. I look forward to having it discovered. Carlos, brother, you're smarter than probably 99% of the people that I know, and I think you have an awful lot to offer. I just have to digest what you're doing. And I think by, it's kind of like getting that second set of eyes and pointing each other in the right direction and where the task benefit is, and which results in, helping people at the same time making money. And I can see that. And that's where I don't know, like I said, there's nothing magical. It's just that, people are in the right place at the right time. So I look forward to talking to you, my dear friend, and awesome. and learning from you also. All right. Dr. Rao, it's been a pleasure. And Carlos, I will be messaging you, and you have I'll send you my phone number also, through LinkedIn. Okay. By the way, if anybody in the room is listening to this right now or on the repeat, guys, listen carefully to what I'm saying. If you are in business and do not have LinkedIn, you are missing out. Okay. So we had a room today where we talked about the benefits of your short-term goals, of what you're going to do for yourself, and what about taking all of your time and putting it towards the long-term goal, and then you find out that come time to pay the mortgage, you don't have any money left because all you've been doing is working towards the long term. We have to figure that out, don't we, guys? That's what we need to do. So please, 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 always, 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 always timeline yourself out and protect yourself against downside. And that's exactly what Dr. Rao is an expert at. God bless you, my friends. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thank
Take
you.
it easy, Robert.
You bet.
Pleasure.
All right, guys, we will close here, and I'll see you tomorrow again. Okay?
Thank you so much. When will the replay be up? It takes a little while, right?
No, it should be there in a few hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Rao. Have a beautiful,
Okay.
beautiful day. Thank you, Santush and Jacob.
Jacob.
And alrighty.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody, on the wisdom.